Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here to do a review of NXT Takeover Wargames. The show just ended, guys. What an amazing show it was. And we are here to talk about the small but great card. Before we get into it, make sure you check out everything down in the description box below. You'll have stuff for the Facebook groups, Twitter. Give me a follow on there at EPW Show. And you'll also have a link to my podcast, which is on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Find it wherever. Let's talk about this amazing NXT TakeOver card. If you guys are watching and you are in the chat, do me a favor. Make sure that you guys are talking in the chat box and we will watch Kevin Alvarez. What's going on, my man? Gotta say what's up to Kevin in the chat. So if you guys are interested in the show, keep talking in the chat box below. That's all good. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you want to talk NXT TakeOver. Let's get right into it, guys. Our very first match was Kassious Ohno versus Matt Riddle. Interesting match. Basically, they had them come out, and there was kind of a quick promo going on. And the bro of NXT, Matt Riddle, came out to be interrupted by Kassious Ohno. And they had a little interaction on the pre-show. And a match begins between the two. And what do you think ends up happening? Freaking crazy, guys. They wind up having Kassious Ohno come in the ring, storm the ring because he's upset about everything, and eats a knee right to his face. 1, 2, 3. Game over. Quick match. In the description box below, you will see I gave it a grade of a dud. Why is that? Because there was nothing there. And actually, I'm going to change it to NA right now. Not enough information for it to give it a real grade, in my opinion. We get to the next match, which was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Hey, what's going on, No Lara? Takeover few. What's going on? I hope that you met review 89 ESR. I know that's Robert from the Everything Pro Wrestling group. We're on the women's 2 out of 3 falls match right now. So if you guys have something to say, I'm looking right at the chat box. So if you guys want to talk, feel free, add stuff to it. I'm all about it, guys. I want you guys to chime in, and I'll read your stuff on here, what you thought about the show. The 2 out of 3 falls women's match. Now, I don't know everything that happened, and I don't want to go through each thing match by match. So I'm going to look it up here on SEScoops.com. Make sure you check them out for all your wrestling news, guys. We did get some interference in this match for the first fall. It kind of happened really quick. I think is it Jasmine Duke or Jasmine Duke and Marina Shafir. They were out there once again. Same thing for my Evolution review. They came out and interfered in the match, and they got Shayna Baszler the first pinfall victory. Awesome. Very cool. She ended up tapping her out with her submission hold. So immediately after that, we get back to the second fall of the match, and Kairi Sane does an amazing apron DDT. If you guys have not seen this GIF on Twitter of what happened, it basically looked like Shayna Baszler was going to suplex Kairi Sane, and Kairi held her in a DDT spot and DDT'd her on top of the apron. Freaking amazing, in my opinion. Both these ladies worked hard in this match, and they gave it their all. There were certain spots where it was kind of like, hit or miss, but you get through it, and you know it gets tied up 1-1 after Kairi Sane lands her flying elbow drop for a 3 count. And we get to the part of the match where it's got interference like crazy. So we get more interference, and who's going to come to Kairi's aid but Dakota Kai? Dakota Kai comes out first, and she comes out like she's coming out of a hellfire and brimstone. She's coming out throwing punches. So this is the best I thought she looked for coming out and making a save. But she ends up getting jumped because they're outnumbered. It's 3-on-2. Then who comes out? Io Shirai comes out and does a moonsault off the top rope. She did a pretty good job. Took her a little bit of time to set it up, but she landed it perfectly. Beautiful. So they go back to the spot where Kairi was going to hit another elbow drop on Shayna Baszler. She goes up to the top rope, and lo and behold, she gets reversed into a crucifix. 1, 2, 3. Tomorrow night, Los Angeles is going to boo Nia Jax out of the Staples Center. You may be right, no, Lara, for sure. And 89 said you said it right the first time. Thank you, sir. Jasmine Duke is her name then. So afterwards, she gets rolled up. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. 2 out of 3 falls is ended. So I don't know, guys. That was a pretty decent 2 out of 3 falls match. What was the grade I gave it? I gave it a B-, to be fair. So decent match. It did all right. I think it was the weakest match on the card besides the Matt Riddle, Kassious Ohno, obviously. So I look forward to seeing Matt Riddle, Kassious Ohno have a rematch as we go towards Takeover Phoenix, which will be in the Royal Rumble. Our next match was Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano. I have enjoyed this story so much between these two. How Johnny Gargano has turned into this, I don't know, like confused babyface is what I'll call it. He doesn't know what he wants to do at this point. Johnny Gargano wants to believe he's the babyface in it, but now he's doing actions that are heelish to get back to his NXT title match with Tommaso Ciampa. He's let this feud consume him. And Aleister Black is the victim in this. He's the innocent bystander that doesn't understand why all of this is happening. What's going on, everybody who's in the chat? I just saw a few more people join. If you guys are joining, share the link, spread the love to everybody, and comment down below. And I'm reading everything you guys write in the chat right now, so do that. And once again, like the video, comment, subscribe, whatever you guys got to do. I want to hear from you guys, though. And we're on Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano. So first thing I noticed is Aleister Black came out wearing the silver ring attire, whatever. But I want to talk about Johnny Gargano's. First, they changed up his entrance kind of a little bit. They changed his smiley face into kind of an evil middle face. So you're watching this and it's like, oh, okay. He had a Marvel design that said like Johnny Takeover, but you could tell it was clearly designed after the Punisher. So I really thought that was very cool. Part of the storytelling for it. And this match had everything in it. I don't even know what to say. They had back and forth offense in the beginning. The fight spills outside. Black hits a big suicide dive on Gargano. Black looked like he wanted his revenge. They did a cool spot in the beginning with Black doing the springboard moonsault, and he went to like basically sit Indian style or crisscross applesauce. If I'm not being politically correct, I apologize. I'm old. That's what we used to call it. So he's sitting with his legs crossed, and Johnny Gargano just blasted him, like kicked him right in the face, because who wouldn't do that after you've seen this guy do that a bunch of times? So I like that. They do so much good stuff in this. He did an excellent tornado DDT to the floor from a dive. Johnny Gargano is so good, man. So he does a dive out to the floor, gets caught, and does a tornado DDT to Aleister Black, puts him in the ring, and then he hits his other DDT. Aleister Black sold these like a champ, in my opinion. So it was excellent. Now, after that, Black missed a couple shots. Gargano hits a lariat. He drops Black again. He puts him in the Gargano escape. They try and do some things with some kicks and everything else. I love the storytelling in this match. And the whole backing off, what are you going to do? They had a spot basically too where Johnny Gargano is like saying, no, listen, just end me. Hit me with the black mass. I deserve it. And they both basically suckered each other in, playing off of their babyface instincts. What a great job they did doing that as well. Even Aleister. So let's do the Aleister spot first. He was getting up, and he basically told Johnny, give me the best kick you got. He ducked, and then basically hit him with a couple strikes after attempting a pinfall. Then you had Johnny Gargano do the same thing. He said, hit me with the black mass. I deserve it. And he ended up ducking and doing the exact same thing and tried to put him in the Gargano escape to tap him out. Woo. Good match. You see a lot of great knee strikes and close pinfalls in this towards the end. Really good. And what ends up happening is he drops his knee pad and knees Gargano right in the face. And he follows up with, he finally connects with the black mass. But Gargano doesn't fall over forward. He falls kind of into Aleister Black like that. And he's still standing up, but his head's not resting on his chest. And everyone was chanting one more time. And he hits him with another black mass. 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black is your winner. On my predictions, I did not do as well as I thought I was going to do on this. But Aleister Black picks up the big victory, and he did an amazing job with it. Now, we see the Undisputed Era backstage afterwards. They're getting ready in their locker room for the big War Games match. And then we get a video trailer for the NXT Championship match, which is the match we're going to talk about next, guys. Let me go into the chat here and see what we got going on. All right, we have a couple more people watching. What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's enjoying the stream. Guys, I want to hear what you thought the match of the nights were, because I'm going to compare those two matches too. And I'm sorry, and Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, easily, I gave it an A-. Really good. Very well done. It doesn't get any better than that, in my personal opinion. So we get to our next match, which was for the NXT Championship. And it was Tommaso Ciampa versus the Velveteen Dream. Ooh. Robert Anderson, or 89 ESR, in the YouTube chat here is saying War Games was easily match of the night. It's up there, man. You could argue for any of the three, but let me get through this match first here. So we're gonna get back to what happened in the match. The Velveteen Dream came out, and you know everyone's waiting to see what attire he comes out with. He comes out, if you look in the thumbnail, of the video, you'll see that Dream's wearing a shirt that says OVA, and it's OVA, OVA, and he is wearing like an NWO type shirt, and he came out like Hollywood Hogan with the gloves and everything else. And the best thing I saw on Twitter was this, and I quote, "The Velveteen Dream is a walking, talking, and wrestling nostalgia." Like, this dude, and that's not a bad thing, that's a compliment. This dude is doing everything like all of the greats did. And I saw pieces of Shawn Michaels, Hollywood Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Rick Rude. The Dream is a star. I don't care what anybody says. The guy's got it. And Tommaso, I'm not taking anything away from you, because you are as well. You are an excellent heel throughout this match. So they end up trading blows back and forth. They're doing kind of like, you know, mocking each other. We're seeing a lot of like the Hogan ear thing. Even the headband gets ripped off a little bit, and he loses the Hollywood headband. It's all good. You see him even tease that he's going to do a leg drop. Ciampa rolls out of the ring, and he's like, no, gets good heel heat for it. You saw a neck breaker that screamed like Ravishing Rick Rude as soon as he did it. So cool. So you get back and forth in this match. Ciampa's beating Dream down on the floor, taking him back in the ring. The Dream comes back with a swinging neck breaker and strikes, and he looks for his DDT, but Ciampa escapes, and we get finally the big spot where he hits the big punches, the big boot, and he delivers 3 leg drops. Ciampa kicks out. They don't get the spot or the victory that he wanted, but then he lands a spine buster for a 2 count. They go back outside. Dream hits a nice suicide plancha on Tommaso, and they go back in the ring, and there's a lot of teasing of moves are going to happen, and nothing happens. Ciampa plays off of his ankle being hurt in this match a lot. I don't know if it actually happened. It occurred on a spot where it looked like 2 suplexes were going to occur, and they both flipped to the outside of the ring. I couldn't tell if it was a work or not. I'm going to assume it was, because he looked like he was moving around pretty well still, but these wrestlers are tough SOBs, so we'll work with it. So we get back into the ring, and Dream's locking in figure 4s. Even Ric Flair, I didn't even mention Ric Flair. He's doing stuff like that. He's got a figure 4. Tommaso's doing the flip over. He gets out of it. They're brawling back to the ringside floor. Ciampa grabs his belt like he's going to walk out. He ends up throwing it in the ring. Dream ends up slamming him on the floor with his Death Valley driver and gets back in. Ciampa then gets the DDT he always does, the Velveteen Dream DDT, right on top of the belt, Eddie Guerrero style. Another thing I didn't notice until I just thought about it now. 1, 2, he kicks out again. There were so many close near falls in this match. I think the Dream also landed his big elbow drop from the top rope after everything occurred on the outside. Big stuff happening in this match. He goes for, so after he kicks out of his Purple Rainmaker elbow drop, Tommaso tries to go to the floor. Dream stops him, and he's hanging over the apron. Dream goes to the top rope on the other side, goes for another elbow, and misses. He crashes and burns on the floor. And while he's getting back in the ring, Tommaso looks at, in between the War Games rings, they have that little steel ramp that protects it. And he looks at it, and he DDTs the Velveteen Dream right on there. And he gets the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still NXT champion, Tommaso Ciampa. Another match that I give it a grade overall A-. Now, so Robert saying War Games is match of the night, followed by Dream and Ciampa. Now, here's what I want to pose to everybody here while I'm looking at this. When you guys look at the Aleister Black Johnny Gargano match, which is on the screen that I'm looking at right now, and you also have the next match that comes after it, the Tommaso Ciampa Velveteen Dream, as we have like the slideshow going on. I gave them both the same grade, but they're two different matches, and this is why it's so hard to pick which one's better between these two, because one, I feel like Aleister Black Johnny Gargano told an excellent wrestling story, and it's a backstory to the title. Then you also have the championship match, which has the title on the line, brings its prestige up. But their story wasn't all about the wrestling. Their story was more so about character and who they are as heels and faces. Tommaso Ciampa made a big declaration at the end of this match by saying, "I'm the man around here, and this is the A show." Excellent character, man. Hats off to both of them. Yes, Connor, what a pay-per-view. What's going on, my friend? If you got anything you'd like to share, please leave it down in the chat box here below. And we are getting to the match that was the main event and why the pay-per-view has the name War Games. Excuse me here. Got to grab some water. Don't worry, Robert. Yellow Cup of Doom still on standby. I just ran out watching the show. I'm not even going to go through all the spots in the War Games match. You guys definitely need to just go back and watch it. I'm going to try and freestyle this a little bit here as best I can, because I'm not going to remember every single thing that happened in this match. Now, going into this match, I think it's also very very important. Yellow Cup FTW, thank you, sir. It's very important to know in this match going in that Pete Dunne had an injured ankle. Foot. I think he was hurt, basically. So a lot of people were probably wondering why Pete Dunne was kept out of the match. He was in safe spots. His leg looked shaky. I was watching with someone who said something about how he looked. I didn't think it was that bad or a big deal, but they noticed he looked a little bit bigger. And I'm like, Pete Dunne hasn't been working out because he's injured. So a lot of people didn't know that. So we get into the match. Adam Cole comes out for the Undisputed Era. That's right. Support your favorite pro wrestlers, guys. And Adam Cole's going to start off the match while everyone else is locked inside of their cage. And we have Ricochet starting it off for his team. So these guys go out there and they are hustling. They're doing their best to just start off a War Games match. You know how it usually works. The formula is the heels will get the advantage, and you have to tell that story going into it with everything. They go back and forth with some moves. Nothing too big. The next entrant to come in is Kyle O'Reilly. They won the match to have the advantage, so Kyle O'Reilly comes out. He hits the ring, and he is pummeling Ricochet. giving them palm strikes and everything else. These guys are going to work. The next person to come out for the other team was Hanson. Hanson may be the guy in this match that shocks you the most from some of the spots he did. Hanson is that man. Hanson is that boy. If you did not watch this, shit, man. Hanson did his thing. So big props to the big man for what he was doing in this. We'll get into it. So he had a pretty cool spot in the beginning where he had O'Reilly and Adam Cole in corners, and he just kept running back and forth, just delivering big splashes to them and annihilating them. And the fans at first got real quiet, like he's doing the same thing over and over. But then, they usually pick up and they give him the golf clap, and they were feeling it. They were feeling it. War Games and Black versus Gargano were my favorite matches. I like to see that Jayhawks, a.k.a. Connor. Most definitely. It's real tough for me while we're looking at it. So, looks like we're having some issues potentially with buffering. I apologize, guys, if you're having that. This is a YouTube problem I'm looking at right now on my stream. So make sure you come back and check it out if there's an issue with any of it. But it's still recording, so we're going to keep it moving. We look at the match. So they're going back and forth, everything else. So the next person to come out is Roderick Strong, and he came in like a house of fire too. Roderick Strong wrestles like he's got something to prove every time. He's cleaning house. He came in there hitting backbreakers on Ricochet. He did it 3 times. I thought he was going to freaking knock the dude loopy. Like, he just dropped him on his knee like, yeah, I don't care. He also angle slammed Hanson. They just came in beating ass. I love it. Ricochet, so they start picking up. We get Bobby Fish is left, and Rowe comes out to even the odds. And he does some pretty cool stuff with power moves. And you have Bobby Fish, who is next to come out. And what does he do? There's locks on these cage doors that hold the teams inside. And Pete Dunne's still in because he's the last one who has to come out. Well, instead, he takes his lock and his chain and puts it around Pete Dunne's door. And then he wraps a chain around and then locks it with his lock. And then takes the key from the referee and he threw it into the crowd. So now you got to figure out a way to get Pete Dunne out, and he's stuck in there. Heel tactics, right? So I like it. It was very smart booking. Whoever thought of that, good idea. I wasn't thinking of it, but good stuff. So Pete Dunne's stuck in there, and he's waiting to get out. So how is he going to get out, you're wondering? The Undisputed Era comes in with steel chairs with their logos on it. You see after they pummel everybody, Kyle O'Reilly pays a little tribute to La Parka. He takes the steel chair, and he's just rocking out on it. So, good job. Shout out to the La Parka reference if any of you get that. You can look it up if you want. I wrote it on Twitter. A lot of people thought it was cool. Whatever. So, Pete Dunne finally gets let out of the cage. They find bolt cutters. Surprise. And they get him out. Pete Dunne comes out and he grabs a kendo stick. He is smashing people's fingers that are holding the cage so he can't get in. He starts grabbing weapons. He's grabbing garbage can lids, 2 tables. He's bringing everything in the ring so that people can use it. Now, Pete Dunne's in there and he's got a bum knee. And he's coming in ready to snap fingers. And he's doing what he can with the bum knee that they're selling in this match. Or he has a foot injury. Whatever. So Dunne's in there doing what he can. All 4 members of the Undisputed Era try to fight him off, but Pete Dunne is doing the best he can. They end up wrapping a chain around Dunne's bad knee, and O'Reilly looks like he's trying to do damage to it, but then he looks like he's trying to soften up on it. So I don't blame the guy. He's not trying to injure him. And with all the drama with Nia Jax and everything else going on, who can blame the guy? O'Reilly and everybody starts working together, and they're doing what they can. So we get to, let me see here. Strong O'Reilly double team Dunne. Ricochet hits a dive on the Undisputed Era in the other ring, but Strong drops him with a chair shot, charges at Hanson. We get some double team moves from the team of Fish and Strong. They're doing what they can. Cole is trying to escape. He's laying there on the side. War Raiders hit a double power bomb move on Cole. I saw at one point, I believe it was Rowe, had somebody grabbed basically in like a Mark Henry type position, and someone got sat on his shoulders for a power bomb. Holy shit, how strong do you have to be to do something like that? Amazing that the guy was able to do that. What do we got? The only thing that was disappointing, me and my boy. Yeah, I hear that, Jayhawks. I'm getting to that right now. I'm talking about it. He basically power bombs him, and while they're getting into that spot, that's done, and they get to a point in the match where Kyle O'Reilly's like laying on the table, and you can tell they're setting him up for a spot. And Hanson climbs to the top rope on the other side of the ring, because there's 2 rings in this match. He jumps from the other side of the ring into the other ring and splashes on top of Kyle O'Reilly. Big spot. I thought it was over right there, but Roderick Strong ends up making the save for his team. Now, after that happens, everybody's in the ring, and they set up a big spot with a Tower of Doom, so to speak, off the cage. Everybody's down. So when everybody starts getting up, who's climbing up but the man they call Ricochet? After Adam Cole gets the suplex from trying to climb out when he was hiding up there for a little bit, everybody's down. Ricochet climbs to the top corner. He does an amazing backflip, lands on his feet. It looked like he landed it perfectly. Unbelievable. Double rotation moonsault onto a pile of wrestlers, and everybody goes down. This is getting holy shit chants. It's going crazy. So the teams look like they are separating into the 2 rings. Like Undisputed Era is rolling over on this side, and then you got the other team in the main ring on the left. They do a great face-off moment where they're looking at each other like, come on, and they meet right in the middle between the 2 rings and just start pounding each other. Pete Dunne looks like William Regal out there. He's hitting people with uppercuts, European uppercuts and strikes. They're going to work. Unbelievable. Afterwards, though, Rose the last man standing, and he hits a knee to the face on Bobby Fish. The War Raiders then double team O'Reilly, and then Strong and Fish hit a double team move on Rose. So they're taking everybody out to get to the finish. Hanson then hits a springboard back elbow. That's right, Hanson hit a springboard, bounced off the ropes, jumped back up, and back elbowed 2 of the guys from the Undisputed Era. Cole then kicks him out of midair once Ricochet flies off the top rope towards him. He lands a nice super kick. Good job, Kyle O'Reilly, making that, or I'm sorry, I said Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole for making that look good. So afterwards, Cole hits a running knee to the face for a 2 count, and Dunne is not, he's still down. So Dunne comes back with the bitter end on Cole, and Ricochet comes off the top with a 450 for a 3 count on Adam Cole. So Adam Cole is pinned. The winners are the War Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne. Everyone is selling the beating afterwards. Everybody's going crazy. There's 13,000 plus in attendance, and Ricochet has his belt, Pete Dunne has his belt, and they're celebrating in the ring with their team as it goes off the air. An amazing freaking card. I gave that match as well an A-. Gotta love it, guys. I have no complaints about it. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this before I give my final grade. What grade would you guys give this show? I don't do match star ratings. I'm no Dave Meltzer. But if you could give this show a grade, what would you guys expect from it? What do you want to see? I'll wait and give you guys a second to think about that. But in the end, there were 3 A- at the end. Nothing was A+ range. Nothing too crazy. And we had a B- match in the beginning and a match that I called not a NA. I couldn't give it a rating. I gave it an A-. Is it the strongest takeover card? No. Is it horrible? No. Is it even in the middle ground? No. I go A- for this show. And that's not bad, guys. Trust me. A- is up there with great. Now, Survivor Series is tomorrow. I'm going to do a review immediately afterwards for Survivor Series. Hopefully I can get a guest or someone on here to try and do that as well with. Is Survivor Series going to live up to this pay-per-view is the question. Will they be able to? That's going to be a tough sell. I don't know if they can. But what I need you guys to do is make sure you help me out here. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure we get other wrestling fans on the Everything Pro Wrestling bandwagon. Why? Because I care about you guys. I want you guys to be on the shows, interacting, talking with me. I want to hear what the people think. So this is Conrad Cushman from Everything Pro Wrestling, getting ready to sign out. I will be back tomorrow with a Survivor Series review. And for the Everything Pro Wrestling podcast this week, I will be putting up 4 choices for a retro review for Survivor Series. Make sure you keep it locked to the Everything Pro Wrestling Facebook group to figure out which 4. And I'm going to let them vote and decide which retro review you guys get this week. Thank you so much for checking out the review, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I am out. Peace.